All right. A little different scenery today.
A little different scenery. Public lands, the topic of conversation.
Right behind us.
Yeah.
Right behind us. So, yeah. So, what's the date today? 25th?
I think so, yeah.
June 25th.
Yeah.
2 days ago. Everybody was on the mad dash in flooding senators' voicemail boxes, things like that, emails to oppose the selling of public land. And
Yep.
2 days ago it was pretty much, well, you did a lot of the research on it, what happened with the...
Yeah,
with that.
so this has been kind of an ongoing battle for a while. Basically, Senator Mike Lee out of Utah doesn't like the idea of the federal government owning lands, which are our public lands that we utilize. Now, he's a Republican, and,
Yeah.
fairly fired up over the issue.
Jack Republican?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Jack Republican. He's
Mhm.
from Utah, like Jack Mormon.
Yeah.
He's definitely not the Republican I would vote for. But this whole thing started off, he wanted to sell a lot of public land. And then he's been revising it because us as hunters, we've all been emailing and calling our senators and our congressmen because this was in the House not too long ago, and we had to call our congressman and say, hey, we do not approve of this. I think there's 11 million hunters in the United States, and I would say, what do you think, 95 or 98% of them are all Republicans?
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go a little less.
A little less?
I'd be willing to say that it's probably a 80-20 split.
Okay.
Yeah. I know I have family that are, they're on the Democrat side, and they hunt. They hunt and own firearms and recreate. Yeah.
That's still 8 million hunters that would be Republican, roughly, let's just say.
We're totally spewing speculating, so don't take this
this is speculation.
Yeah.
All speculation. Allegedly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the wrong group to get fired up, with a Republican-led Senate and House as well as presidency. So, anyway, this whole issue started a few months ago, and then last week, Mike Lee was adding this to the bill, the big beautiful bill, and it entailed a lot more land and a lot looser confines of how to sell that land off. And then he came out with a post that said, I hear you hunters, I'm adjusting the bill. The new bill is not very good either. Watch Randy Newberg's stuff. He's very deep into the political issues when it comes to public land and hunting. He knows it inside and out. The new one's not very great either. So he obviously didn't hear us. So we're still in the midst of calling all our senators. We're here in Nevada. We've got 2 Democrat senators. They're more than likely going to vote against it. The Democrats are kind of like in their tight-knit group where they do everything similar. But also I watched I forget what the name of the committee was, but he's basically the head of this committee in the Senate. And Catherine Cortez Masto was on
It's the
committee.
Energy and Natural Resources.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Cortez Masto, who's one of our senators.
I emailed her.
She is on the committee, but the way there were some certain stipulations, regular things that were going on with this where Mike Lee didn't have to consult the committee. He was able to just write it up on his own, as I understand it.
Did it have something to do with the budget, it being a budgetary bill, not a...
It might have been that.
Okay.
That might have been the reason why. But basically, from what I watched when the committee was interviewing Doug Burgum, they had him testify before the committee. Catherine Cortez Masto does not seem to be in favor of this because there's actually already a plan in place for selling off public lands. They've done it around Vegas for a while. Actually, Harry Reid started that years ago.
Yeah.
But the process of selling it off, when they sell off BLM, 90% of that fund goes back towards the BLM to improve public lands.
Improve it, acquire, shift.
Yeah,
do whatever.
acquire new lands.
Re-inhabit plants, natural stuff, whatever.
Yeah, which that's actually a really good plan, and I'm in favor of that. And
Yeah, as long as they're transparent with where they're wanting to sell, what their intentions are, and whereabouts it is. I
yeah,
mean, let's look at it and see.
yeah, because Vegas, a lot of that BLM land around there's a lot of it. Some of it's not high usage because there are houses that back right up to BLM, so then they'll buy 1 square mile worth of BLM, they'll develop it, and Vegas keeps growing a little bit bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
But that system, like I said, 90% of the money already goes back to the BLM and restores conservation, BLM lands, yada, yada, yada. What Mike Lee's proposing is only a 10% kickback to the BLM for selling them off.
Yeah, he's so generous.
So generous. So
basically, this Mike Lee, he's kind of a piece of shit. From what I mean,
he really is.
From the research that you've done and how persistent he's being about this, without the transparency. I mean, the best we have is the best idea of what he wants to sell off is for lowest cost housing and near populated areas.
Yeah,
that's pretty vague.
That's what he's reduced it to.
Yeah, that's what he's reduced
it to.
But
the problem is he's already showed us his hand,
mm-hmm.
and he wants to get rid of all the public lands.
Yeah,
because he doesn't think the federal government should own land.
Yeah.
Again, speculation. Do your research. You'll find.
Yeah, do your research. We're
allegedly
taking tidbits of stuff that we've done.
But he already showed his hand with his initial write-up, and now he's trying to reduce it. And it's like, well, now I can't trust you because you weren't transparent the first time, and I hated your first write-up.
Mm-hmm.
And now that this one is a little more buyable, now we're on a slippery slope where if we give you an inch, you're going to try and take a mile.
Yeah.
So I've emailed our congressman. Now I've emailed him 3 times. Mark Amodei. If you're in northern Nevada, Mark Amodei is our congressman.
Yep.
I have emailed our senators twice at this point because every time he amends it, I want to make sure that they have a new email in their inbox.
Yeah.
Saying I disapprove.
That 202 number has been called a lot by us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it 202? I can't remember what the number that was.
But that's basically where we're at as hunters is like we got to keep the pressure on. And Newberg's been saying this a lot in his podcast. Go watch those. They're awesome. He does a great job with them.
I'd like to touch on, aside from everything, just the communication part of things. Holy cow, man, talk about everybody banding together. I mean, over the weekend, I got the Onyx, add your story. Like, this is, I know a spot and it's not for sale kind of thing. I mean, how awesome is the communication that we've had between just everybody, all kinds of groups, friends, Instagram. I mean, you can broadcast.
Yeah.
You can broadcast some stuff and then just communicating and like the things that Newberg's done, that the On Hunt guys have done. Eastman's. I saw Eastman's jump in on it, and they had a whole. It's kind of funny. He had a nice little news looking setup. For, and Ike Eastman was doing even some. I mean, it's pretty awesome. The groups that we have, what we're a part of. The communication, the deep dive, the drill downs into what this bill meant and everything else, and what it was gonna entail, and getting that out to the public.
You know what else is pretty amazing? He has unifying qualities with this bill because the anti-hunters and the granola eater outdoorsmen, and the hunters and the fishermen, have all bonded together for the same fight, put our differences aside, and said, no, we all stand at the same line here.
Yeah,
we will all fight together on this one.
That trail you hike, even if you're not a hunter, that place you'd like to take your kids for a peaceful Sunday afternoon.
Yep,
they're all at risk. Yeah, and the way that this was all portrayed and communicated was just amazing.
Yeah,
and it just goes to show what we can do as all these groups and what kind of influence we can have. So I mean, it's a little cornerstone. We met a milestone by helping block it and get it I guess where Mike Lee's Mike Lee is concerned, rewording it.
Yeah, because the parliamentary rule, I just learned about that, but it got thrown in. So it got thrown out of the bill yesterday due to the parliamentary rule because it's not technically a budgetary the way he has it written up. So you don't need a majority in the Senate. Now you need 60 votes in the Senate. So he's trying to reword it to where it only needs 50 and it can pass part of the budgetary bill. But some of the great sides of this is hunters all over the place have been contacting their Congress members and their senators. And the reason I'd say you still need to contact your congressman is because the Senate wants to get a vote on this. Now, let's go backtrack. Mike Lee is trying to add this to the big, beautiful bill.
Yes.
The big, beautiful bill needs to be approved by July 4th because that's the beginning of their new fiscal year.
Mm-hmm. There's a push.
So they only got 1 week. So they're in like hurry up mode. With all the response that hunters have been giving their congressmen and their senators. So the Senate needs to vote on this soon as possible. They were trying to get a vote on Thursday. Now they've had to push that vote and they're trying to get it done by Friday because we have, caused so much resistance that, Mike Lee has lost a few Republican senators who have come out and said, we're not going to support the bill.
Yeah, we have states like Idaho.
Yeah, Montana's a big one. And this is where Mike Lee is really shady. He left out Montana as the sale of public lands to try and get the Montana senators and congressmen to support it. So that's a dirty snake move in my mind.
If I don't mess with your state, will you guys help support this?
Yeah, will you help screw over the other states and the other people that live in those states?
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's some backdoor stuff there.
Yeah, the Senate's trying to vote on it now. I think by Friday. Mike Lee is really the only holdup. If it weren't for this public lands thing, they'd have already voted on it. It'd be going back to the House. And this is where I say you need to contact your congressman because once the Senate votes on it, it goes back to the House of Representatives and they have to vote on it. And now I think there's 2 congressmen from Colorado that have come out and said they won't support it. The guys in Montana, they're still, no way, Jose, even though our state's left out, it's like we're still not supporting it because Montana has been through this path before. They've lost Senate seats and Congress seats for voting against public lands.
Yeah.
So that's a no-fly zone in Montana. That's why Mike Lee tried to leave Montana out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Idaho, I think it's their senators have come out and said, no, we're not going to support it. It might have been their congressman. There's a lot of stuff going on in the works here. But there's a lot of resistance that he's getting trying to sell the public lands because we as hunters have been contacting our reps and saying, hey, we don't like this.
Yeah. So good job and cheers to you guys.
Cheers to you guys.
That have spoke up and wrote your congressman.
So how
called the number, joined in the fight. I mean, I know we sound like a broken record, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and you basically got to badger him every day because here's the thing. Mike Lee is changing the wording every day almost. So if you wrote him or called him a week ago and then he changed it since then, you need to do it again and say you don't support the new alterations to it.
Yeah.
So there was one other thing I was going to touch on there.
We covered the fiscal year.
Oh, I was going to dive in. Basically what he wants to do now, it's now what he wants to do within 5 miles of population centers.
Yeah.
He wants to sell off those public lands, which is silly because there's multiple places on BLM land that I can hunt within 5 miles of my house.
But again, it's not specific as to what this affordable housing is.
Yeah.
Is it a $300,000 house? Is it
originally
low income? What is it?
Yeah, and originally it wasn't even worded as such. So we just won the big border the corner crossing battle, right? Well, that's been brought up to the landowner appealed that. So he appealed it to the Supreme Court, and so now it's up to the Supreme Court whether they're going to decide to take it or not, right? So that was a big win for hunters. Well, Mike Lee, his constituents, the people that fund his campaign, oil and gas, and big private landowners.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to be able. So if you look at Colorado or Wyoming, there's a lot of BLM you can't access because you have to go through private property. So basically, they own a huge chunk of BLM that's closed off, that landowner, but they're not paying property taxes on it,
Yeah.
which is dirty. So that's where, like, I'm in huge...
Colorado's horrible about it.
Colorado's bad.
Like, unless you helicopter or fly or get dropped off in it from the air.
Yeah.
There's even a thing about airspace, too.
Well, that's what the corner crossing thing
Yeah.
was all about. But I'm a huge advocate for land swaps. It's like...
As long as it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, 1-for-1 land swaps I'm in huge favor for, because it's like you take all that BLM, you move it over here, you make it accessible, and then you give them this so they have one closed off chunk, not a bunch of scattered chunks.
Yeah.
Right?
And in the case of Colorado, it wouldn't hurt that much because you don't have access to that land anyway.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
In some parts of Utah too.
But the original bill that Mike Lee was proposing was to allow those private land entities to buy
what's inside
all
of
that stuff inside.
land law.
Well, and here's the reason he's doing it too. Another big reason he's lying. I'm gonna call him a liar on this. Allegedly lying, because he's saying it's for people who grew up in small towns and want to live there and can't afford a house, which is bogus because I grew up in a town of 300 people.
There's no.
It's total horse crap.
Yeah.
This guy's never been to a small town in his life and actually talked to the people. So
they would want you to leave it alone.
yeah, this is the campaign he's running on. It's for small rural communities to give them affordable housing, which is total horse shit.
For one, you can't. What are they going to do? If the industry, if small towns are small because the industry keeps them, like the job market and everything keeps them that way.
Yeah.
Right. So people either choose to commute or they help support their small town.
Well, and here's the thing that's in his writing as well. It's for single family homes, right? But it doesn't say a single family has to own that home. So basically, you're going to have these big companies that come in, build these tract homes.
Yes.
They're going to be owned by really rich people, and they're going to rent them out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not benefiting anybody. It's not benefiting us. It's benefiting the rich. The rich gets richer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a big thing. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's people have to build those homes, and tract housing is very big allotments of land that you subdivide and build tract homes on, cheap, affordable.
Yeah, affordable
type homes, but then they'll rent them,
Yeah.
sell them, whatever, and then it just doesn't stop. It just won't stop.
No, and it's
But they're not going to build factories. They're not going to build
Yeah.
anything to help.
they're not
going to
build the job market.
No.
But and here's the other thing is, so Mike Lee's from Utah. Most of the land in the West is public lands, whether it's National Forest or BLM, right? So back east, they make a killing. Their state governments make a killing off of property taxes. Mike Lee basically wants to sell all this land in Utah, this BLM land, so that they can charge property taxes, which again, to me, my personal feelings on property taxes is it's theft. That is the state government stealing from me. Like, I don't believe in property taxes.
Yeah, I have a pretty strong opinion about property taxes.
Yeah. So I don't like that idea. I mean, DeSantis in Florida, he's trying to do away with property taxes because he doesn't believe in them either.
They don't own this. They don't own your lot.
Yeah.
They don't own your lot.
So
why are you paying them taxes?
My message to Mike Lee is run your state better. You know, call on your governor and your state senators and your state congressmen. Balance your budget better. Work within your means.
Find the waste.
Yeah.
Find the waste in your processes now. It's a little thing that most, if not a huge percentage of companies, it's called lean.
Yeah. Mike Lee, how much are you worth?
Yeah.
Why don't you donate some of your money to your state so that it can fix the problems. Like, don't steal from us our public lands.
Yeah.
I'm fired up about this.
No, I get it. I don't know.
I've been diving into research the past 2 days, and it's just irritating as all hell.
But it is brought on from maybe there is I don't know how legitimate the housing crisis is in some places, but I'm sure there's a better alternative. I'm sure there's a better alternative for that, right? And then on top of that,
pick me.
on top of that, but like run your business. Your state is your business. Like,
yeah,
balance your budget, be lean about things, find your waste, do those kinds of exercises. And if you can show me that you are really good and effective at that, and you can show the public like, hey, we've balanced this, like we're in a real pinch, and this is where we stand, and we've cut this much, and we've found all these wastes, then let's talk about what we can do. But in the meantime, take care of your business.
Yeah. Well, and to go back on that right there, there's already a process to selling off public lands.
Yes, the right way.
It's like,
the right way.
There's already a correct process to selling off public lands. Mike Lee,
benefits us.
That benefits us. Mike Lee, what he's trying to do is to sell them off and add it to the federal government's money without kicking back much at all to BLM.
What he's trying to do is pay his bills.
Yeah, he's trying to pay off.
I mean,
yeah, he wants his oil because he's also. Oh, Newberg talked about this. He's promised, or he's already made 30% royalty cuts to the oil and gas industry because they're his biggest donors, and they helped him get into office and then win re-election in 2022. So he's trying to help his constituents who got him into office. He's not trying to help us.
No.
And he wants to sell the land to the oil and gas
But he's trying
companies.
to find a way to reconcile that
allegedly.
difference, right? I mean,
right.
And there's a lot of, let's just put it the way it is. It's corruption.
Yeah.
It's political corruption within the ranks, and it's wrong. And it affects, what happens is things like this where you get somebody trying to reconcile their budget because of the cuts they've given other people, or because they can't do their job well, or there's a number of things, a number of reasons why. But the fact of the matter is, we spoke up, we pulled together, we called his BS, and some traction happened, which is good. Yeah. But it won't stop.
No, and that's the thing. Like we've already seen him in the beginning. Remember a couple of weeks ago or a couple months ago when the state of Utah was challenging the federal government that they shouldn't own any land. And then Mike Lee's original write-up to add on to this big, beautiful bill was to sell off way more acreage and like a lot more acreage available for sale. And then now he's condensed it down to this small plan where you could almost get on board with. But again, it comes back to he's a liar because he's already showed us his hand over here. So we know that this is a slippery slope that's never going to end if we allow it to go through this one time, because he's already tried for more, then he's reduced it. If he had just started with this small little bit, it wouldn't have been that big a deal, because what they're actually advocating for, and I'll say all truth about this, 3.3 million acres sounds like a lot. That's the total amount they would be selling off, right? It would be somewhere between, I think, the range of 2.6 million, 3.3 million.
And we're sitting at 660 million or something?
Yeah, it's less than half of 1%. So it's not like all the public lands are going to go away. But
it's the start.
It's the start, and that's the slippery slope. And all you guys that have ever hunted in California or knew hunting in California, that slippery slope, right? It's like leg hold, foothold traps went away.
Yeah. And
then it was all of a sudden, then live cages for trapping went away. Bobcat trapping went away. Trapping entirely went away. And then it was hound hunting went away. Pretty soon it's about to be bear hunting goes away. And it's just a slippery slope.
There's something else that's really bugging me. And it's not, obviously I'm conservative. Obviously you probably could guess who I voted for. But Mike Lee has a boss, and his boss has a boss, and the ultimate boss is the boss that's Trump, that's asking states to figure their shit out.
Yep. Yeah, he's putting
You're
more...
in a deficit. He's putting some pressure on, which that's expected. When you're in a deficit in your state and your boss says, "Hey, you guys better figure something out to balance your budget and get on the right side of things," then this is the kind of stuff that starts coming up.
That's exactly it. So
it's not a Trump thing. And I've heard this. I've heard this with Go Hunt guy, who's the new Rand Newberg guy. I mean, this isn't a Trump thing, and I know it can be misconstrued as, holy cow, Trump's big beautiful bill is wanting us to stomp out, want us to sell off public lands. No, that's just how these state senators like Mike Lee are choosing to press the easy button and say, I can do this. I'll get a bunch of cash quick.
Yeah, I'll get a bunch of money for my state.
And my boss will be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly, you're 100% right. Because, like, Trump's putting more onus on the states to balance their own budgets and make their own money.
He's not telling them to sell the land. He's telling them to figure out their budgets.
Yeah, he's telling them, we are not going to send you federal aid for your state if your state's in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Get your state in the black.
Yeah.
So this is Mike Lee's cop-out to try and make all that money quick because I think it's 2/3, 66% of Utah is public land.
There's a lot of people.
So he's just like, I can make all this money right now. And that's the wrong way of doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
find your waste.
Again, going back to the boss of the boss of the boss, right?
Kind of goes back to the Doge thing. Find your waste.
Yeah.
What are you not doing right? What is happening within your organization that is not running well and is costing you way too much money?
Yeah. Wild horses.
It's there, guaranteed.
Wild horses in Nevada cost BLM $80 million a year, and there's no money coming back. Like,
yeah, it's not
financially, it's not smart to keep them around.
It's not reciprocal at all.
Anyway, another topic we discussed.
So, anyways, I just wanted to clear the air because that's been bothering me. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who've been tiptoeing around just because they don't want to stain Donald Trump, President Trump. And I get it, and I understand. Like, we don't want to stain his reputation, but let's just call it what it is. It's business, business. And people in these states have run their business wrong, and now they got to pay for it, and they're trying to figure out how to do it. And this is an easy button. Yeah.
So, well, and that's the other thing too. Is like, obviously, you could probably guess I voted for Trump, but I don't know if Trump's in favor of selling off public lands or not. I really don't. I've never had a conversation with him, but it doesn't matter. I can still like everything else he's doing and still disagree vehemently
that's healthy.
With this.
That's healthy.
It's healthy.
It's a healthy thing. Yeah. I mean,
But I don't know if he does support it or not. But what I can tell you, if Mike Lee keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, because he's trying to add this onto the big, beautiful bill, and if he keeps not having the votes in the Senate saying, hey, if you put this in there, we're not voting for it, eventually it's going to get back to Trump, and Trump's going to be pissed at Mike Lee saying, get this out of my bill because it has 1 week left before it needs to pass.
My opinion is he's a businessman, and if it makes sense, then why not? But, as far as like President Trump wanting, or not wanting, but like being okay with selling off land to cover some deficit money, the thing is that that's one aspect of it. So it takes what we just did. It takes what everybody pulling together to show the other side of it.
Yeah, and
and everybody, any good businessman can look at the pros and the cons, and they weigh that out, and they're like, it's not worth us losing seats in the House next go around. Yeah. It's not worth us not being able to push the big beautiful bill or an agenda. It's not worth all this. So no matter what his opinion is on it, it'll make it, the movement that we just saw, the movement that we just had, will make somebody like President Trump think.
Yeah,
and go, why is there such opposition to this? There must be. This isn't good for business.
And it holds more weight. It holds more weights if you vote conservative, if you vote Republican, and you're coming out against it. it holds way more weight with the Republican Party. Mike Lee is a Republican, but it holds more weight with them because they're like, oh, we might lose their vote next go around. Let's just not touch this.
Or it gives it gives a on the border Democrat the open door to be like, holy cow, man, look what just happened. All I have to do is support X.
Yeah.
And I'm in.
Yeah.
The sportsmen will love me.
Yeah.
And then they get in and they do their dirty deeds.
Just say, Mike Lee's up for re-election in 2028. His primary is coming up next year, 2026. Right? So
this isn't good for him.
If somebody comes out and says, I will support and I will defend your public lands, unlike Mike Lee.
You can have an AOC character come out here and be completely flip the script on you.
Yeah. I mean, that like he's in danger of losing his Senate seat because here's a secret about Utah. It's not really a secret. There's a lot of hunters in Utah.
Oh, man, there's a lot of outdoorsmen, recreational people.
Oh,
I mean,
mountain bikers,
everybody, mountain bikers. I mean, there's
everybody.
a diverse group in Utah.
Yeah,
sure.
there's a lot of guys that are not going to vote for him because of this. And it's like, is that really the hill you want to die on?
Yeah,
like, it's not a good one.
Well, people get caught up in the thing, and if you're super prideful, sometimes your ego gets in the way, But anyways, I think we've beat this one up. If you stuck around this long to listen to us, thanks.
Check out Randy Newberg's stuff. I love watching Newberg because he goes deep. He reads all these bills thoroughly. He's a very smart man. I mean, he was a CPA. The guy knows the tax codes.
Yeah. So
and me being a business owner, like I have bad respect for anybody who knows tax codes like that.
Probably in that blue range when it comes to personality traits. He's probably like very data oriented.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm red. I just get mad about things. But no. So.
Like Randy Newberg's been saying, don't take your foot off the throat. Like now's the time you really gotta. Every day you gotta call, you gotta email your senators and your congressmen. Once this gets through the Senate, if the public land gets stripped from this bill, we're good. Because Congress already knows that they don't have the votes to support any public land sale, and the Senate, they're flirting with that right now. So. Yeah. It's one of those things you just got to keep on them. It's only for one more week.
Yeah.
This bill has to be approved by July 4th. So.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we're getting.
There's a lot. There's a lot of easy ways. Deanna Ackerman, she works with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. She actually posted a link on Nevada Big Game Hunters on Facebook where you can click on that link, and in less than 2 minutes. You fill out your address so they know which representatives to send the info to.
Yeah.
They already have the pre-typed out letter, and then you just hit send. It takes 2 minutes. It's super simple. Again, it's on Nevada Big Game Hunters. RMEF, if you just find RMEF's page on Facebook, it's going to be on there too. But do it. That's a real easy way to do it. That takes less than 2 minutes. I've done that. I have emailed all of them individually at their offices. I've done
the individual emails take a little while.
Yeah.
Like you have to go through some red tape on the internet or on their web pages to get through it. They make it a little hard.
Yeah.
So these easy button things are great, and they've all been derived from all these groups, so it's good.
Yeah.
But so anyways, winding down off the political. Let's get off.
Hold on.
Let's woos off for a minute.
Goose fraba.
And 4th of July is coming up.
Yeah. America's birthday.
We'll try to get one in. I'm heading out of town I'm gonna go try to catch some halibut in Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
So we may not see one until post 4th of July, but get out there, start scouting. You got a month left to do trail cams if you're that kind of person.
Yep.
Or that kind of person. I made it sound derogatory.
Yeah, well.
If you are into the trail cam thing, good luck with that. Hope you guys are doing great with that and getting some pictures. We're seeing some fuzzy horns on these bucks starting to branch out.
I think you
just did a short.
Yeah,
right?
I just posted a short. That buck's gonna be 30 inches wide. He was just down the street here.
No kidding.
Oh man, he's gonna
on
be
our public land. It's less than 5 miles away.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure he goes
close
there.
to public land. Yeah.
But Yeah, dude, he's gonna be a stud. Hunting season's getting close. Yeah, you're going fishing. When's the barbecue?
Yeah, soon, man. Yeah, soon.
Love
But-
halibut.
But maybe we'll do a fishing. Maybe our next
Yeah.
one will do a fishing one.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. I just
Because there's, I mean, it's kind of in that in between. Like we talk hunting, but we like to fish too. When we've been on a
Yeah.
kind of a rampage,
yeah,
kind of on a catfish rampage, and it's been
Yeah.
working out
I like
decent.
big game hunting for fish.
Yeah.
So I think you do too.
Yeah.
We target catfish.
It keeps me coming back. I just love them. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, there'll be 5 or 6 trips where we don't catch anything, and all of a sudden it's just like, all right, we're over it. And then we go out one more time and 15, 16 pound hog.
And you're just like, what did we do different? But
Yeah.
you've been diving into some of the barometric pressures. You're
Yeah.
geeking out on this
Oh,
thing, dude.
Dude, I'm trying to figure it out because I mean, we've been catfishing and like targeting these cats, trying to consistently get into them since 2022, I think, right? So
yeah,
this
we
is-
had a good bout, and then
Yeah, this is year 4
Yeah.
of us trying to do this, and I mean, we've had good days, we've had bad days, and it's just
it's just something
I-
super fun.
I had to start keeping a log because it's like it's not an every trip thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
one out of every 6 or 7
6.
we catch.
Yeah,
So
and maybe we're doing something wrong, but man, we've been trying. We've been trying.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's
and just like when we get frustrated and want to give up, like I said, that
you
15,
pick up a
16
15,
pound
16
hog.
pounder, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
and we like to eat fish, so
yeah. I'm a catch and
we
eat.
figure there's enough. We figure there's enough cats out there to.
They've planted 30,000 catfish in South Fork in the last 3 years.
No kidding.
30,000. So there's definitely more than enough fish for me to keep one 15 pounder.
I'm gonna have to start doing what the fishing magician does and start trying lunch meats and bologna and hot dogs, and
Yeah,
we're gonna have to start trying all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that's kind of my thing to do in the
Yeah.
off season of hunting catfish.
Oh, and it's fun for this time of year. It passes the time, and it's leisurely. It's not real pressure. Just
Yeah.
go and have some fun. But yeah, well, good deal. We want to thank everybody again. Like, it's awesome. Thanks for pulling together.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And anything's possible. So
We'll try and get more videos out too. I've been really busy the last couple weeks trying to get stuff wrapped up in the shop. I only got 2 deer from last year left to mount.
oh, nice. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I had somewhere between 70 and 80 mounts. I think I'm up to I've completed about 64, 65
Holy
of them.
cow.
So
My cousin will be ready for his elk.
yeah, pretty soon. I should be getting to that elk either this upcoming week or the next.
Nice.
One. So
Good deal.
I got a few
You-
elk
you
left
gotta-
to wrap up and some sheep.
You got to
For
knock
them
that
birds.
stuff out so you can go hunting.
That's it, man. We got so many tags.
Yeah, we got some tags.
Found
to
out I
fill.
drew Arizona Coos deer tag.
Yep.
Last week.
And all we can think about is flathead fishing.
Oh, man.
when we go to Arizona.
where I drew the Coos deer tag, and it's one of the December hunts, so it's one of the ones I had like a 3% chance of drawing.
It's kind of like the one I drew last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right next to it.
But- I mean, they catch 80-pound flathead cats out of that lake, and I'm like, man, that's the size of a Coos deer.
Yeah, it's bigger than a Coos deer. Probably get more meat off of it
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah,
Anyhow, well, thanks for sticking
I'm
around. Yeah,
I'm stoked for that one.
yeah.
That's gonna be a good one. We'll definitely get some videos out of that hunt.
And
Good
well,
fish.
there'll be a lot more scouting shorts coming up. I'm gonna be hitting it really hard here pretty quick. So
Yeah.
as soon as I get back from Alaska, it's nose to the grind, and I'll be remote a lot. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually start hitting it pretty hard about the middle of July.
Yeah.
When I can really see some pretty good horn growth, because I hunt pretty close to home.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be in some far off bench. I'm gonna try some different tactics, or not tactics, I should say, but I'm going to hone in on some country and spend some time in some country that is going to take some extreme patience. So
Yeah, that kind of country. Wait, let me guess. That kind of country where you could go 4 days without seeing a
Yeah.
deer, and then you find a 200-inch buck on
Yep.
the 5th day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you may not see them your entire scouting trip again, but you go back and hunt them. And
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
catfishing.
yes, it's like catfishing a lot. So
Yeah. Heck yeah.
cool. Well, happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Independence of this country. Let's keep it up.
Happy 4th.
Cheers.
Cheers. What's next year? 250.
Is it 250?
250 next year.
Oh, so the Marine Corps' 250.
Yep.
251.
251.
All right.
Sayonara.
Thank you.
Quit killing does.
Yeah. Quit killing does. Do not kill does.